Hey there, Dimitri from Total Physical Therapy, total-pt.com. Today we're going to talk about something called the Goldilocks rule, which is trying to find that happy medium between standing poorly or standing too well. Nobody really stands too well, but everyone stands poorly. What I mean by that is this. Most folks either hang in one of two positions. One is they're going to slouch in standing, where they're going to do this, or they're going to do that, where their knees are locked out, hips are rolled all the way forward, and they're hanging on their abdominals and their lower back. Or they're going to slouch this way, where they're going to be hanging on their pelvis, and the spine's actually going to be flexed, shoulders forward, head forward. All right? So what happens when that occurs? When you are in this position here, your pelvis is tilted completely posteriorly. All right? So you're shortening your hamstrings, you're shortening your glutes, you're shortening your abs, you're lengthening a little bit of your hip flexors, but they're still relatively short. And more importantly, your shoulders are forward and your head is forward. So a lot of these muscles are short, and what occurs is when muscles are short, they are weak. So it predisposes you to a lot of injuries just by standing. And because of the shortening of the muscles, you're going to be reducing the tone of the muscles that are holding you upright or keeping you stable. Flip side of that is if you go into that position, where your toes are slightly in, you're kind of hanging out this way. Again, you're overstretching your abdominals, and that puts them in a weaker state as well, because if you think about tension and length, there's a bell curve when it comes to strength and flexibility. If you're too flexible, you're going to be weak. If you're too tight, you're going to be weak. You don't want to be at the extremes of either one. And these stances do put you at the extremes of either one. So when you're here, your abdominals are elongated, so they're not holding you. And you're hanging and you're squashing, you're compressing at the lower back. At the same time, because of that anterior tilt, your hip flexors are real tight. You're putting a lot of excessive tension on those hamstrings because the knees are completely locked out. So you're pulling on those a lot, creating a lot of tension and the ability for those hamstrings to spasm. And again, a lot of compression in the lower back, which tightens up those lumbar stabilization muscles that are trying to hold you up. So what you want to do is you want to try to be in neither position. So you don't want to be here, you don't want to be here. So what I tell folks is get your feet parallel to each other, and what that does is it forces those knees to unlock. And what occurs is instead of being here or here, by putting your feet together, the knees tend to bend about 1 or 2 degrees. So what I tell folks is don't lock them out, don't bend them. Just unlock them a little bit. And what that does is it puts the pelvis and the hips into a proper position that doesn't really allow you to hang, because if the knees are slightly unlocked, they're going to stabilize you from the ground up. And if the feet are parallel to each other, you're not going to have the ability to toe out and dump or toe in and be here. So feet parallel, knees slightly bent, keeps the pelvis in neutral. You don't overstretch the abdominals, you don't compress the lower back, shoulders and head stay upright. All right? So try that, and we'll see you next time.